Am I the only one that still use the dictionary to look up words to be sure that I'm using them correctly? I can't be the only one. I don't want to be caught slipping out here using words wrong and be real loud about it. And so that's exactly why before I even started my brand and got into the depth of it or even started this podcast, I did some research. Because y'all won't tend to catch me slipping like I didn't know what I was talking about. Before we get into today's definitions for this specific episode, for those of you who may not know me, I'm Kay Simone from Shifting Your Atmosphere, where we aspire to help the everyday millennial woman who has lost herself shift from her current mindset, aka her atmosphere, to the one that God has for her by teaching her to show up for herself every single day. The ways we tend to do that is through a supportive community, offering practical everyday resources, and through this podcast, just for encouragement. Now, back to our definitions. Today's episode is called The Shift Challenge. So I had to go and research those two words, right? Shift and challenge. I ain't Googled these, y'all. I ain't Googled these. But let's get right into the definitions. There were two definitions that I chose for each word because I felt like they were both relevant. So for shift, the first definition says move or cause to move from one place to another. The second one says change the emphasis, direction, or focus. And that one a little better, don't it? Ain't it? It's a little better. Let's move on to the second word. The second word was challenge. The first definition says invite to engage in a contest. The second definition, the one that hit y'all, it says dispute the truth or validity of. Y'all got the definitions? Okay, now that we got the definitions, y'all know I'm millennial, right? So what do that mean? We love a good remix. All the millennials stand with me and let the people know we love a good remix. We were born in the era of remixes. The older people like the original, but we love a good remix. So y'all know what I had to do. I had to hit y'all with a remix on these definitions to give you the definition of what I like to call the shift challenge. So for the shift challenge, I invite you to change the focus of what has not been working for you by disputing the validity of any belief that has held you back from showing up for yourself every day. Was that a remix? Was that a remix, y'all? It might not have been T-Pain level, but I think it still was a remix. I think it still was a good remix. What y'all think? Y'all tell me in the comments if y'all thought that was a good remix. And I hope it was a good remix for you that resonates with you because I want it to be ringing in your ears every single time a little voice tries to come up to you and tell you that you're going to quit on yourself. Because it's not going to happen. Now on my watch, it's not going to happen. Because even if you choose not to listen to me, you got to listen to facts, right? And you should listen to the people over at the American Society of Training and Development because they said those who redirect accountability to a third party can increase their chances of success by 95%. Did y'all hear that? 95%. And y'all know I was born in 95. So it really locked in with me when I heard that 95%. That is a large percentage of how you could increase your level of success. Now, I know some of y'all going to be like, why would I want to send my accountability over to a third party? I'm convinced the reason why they found this statistic to be true is simply because a third party cannot be affected by your internal thoughts or, dare I say, limiting beliefs. And for those of y'all who do not know what a limiting belief is, I got you. A limiting belief is any belief that can prevent you from achieving your dreams and forming healthy relationships and making changes in your life. Now, they also found that most of these limiting beliefs for most people stem from fear or negativity. But as you already know, I fully understand that because I've been there. And if you don't believe that I've been there, pause this episode, go back to the last episode, listen to me tell my business, and then come back so that we're on the same page. If you understand that I've been there, I've done that. And additionally, one of the things that I used to say to myself was, no one could ever be harder on me than I was on myself. And baby, I stood 10 toes down on business about that. because you could not ever be harder on me than I was on myself. And I continued in that mindset until I came across one of now my favorite quotes on limiting beliefs. It's by Brian Tracy. The quote says, "You begin to fly when you let go of limiting beliefs and allow your mind and aspirations to rise to greater heights." Did y'all hear that? Y'all want me to read again? You begin to fly when you let go of self limiting beliefs and allow your mind and aspirations to rise to greater heights. Now, I don't know who Brian Tracy is. I don't know what he really do for a living, but what I do know is he was on to something. He was on to something. And before you hit me with the, well, Key, I don't have limiting beliefs. Are you sure? Are you sure that you sure? I mean, are you sure that you're sure that you're sure without a doubt? Sure. Now, if you are, okay, more power to you. That wasn't me. I wasn't sure that I was sure. But, if you sure, commend you for being sure. But listen. If you're not sure, or even if you think you're sure, still get in with this. Because I wasn't even gonna really bring this up, but in case you can't be real with me, or even be real with yourself, I'm gonna just say it. Here it is, y'all. What starts off as a small, unaddressed limiting belief can easily turn into a bed of excuses. Now, hold on. Get your finger up off the button. Do not press pause. Do not slide off this video. Do not exit out this podcast. Do not block me. Do not unsubscribe. I know it's hard to hear. It's not easy. I had to tell myself this, right? This is not just for you. I had to tell myself so many times. And I even know that it's not that easy to listen to me try to tell you something because I'm just sitting behind the screen. But the reason I could sit here with so much passion and sprinkle in a little bit of no nonsense about this topic is because I was you. You know how to say she is her? She is me. I was you. I had the same limiting beliefs. I even allowed my internal beliefs due to past experiences or even the opinions of others that I decided to internalize almost keep me from everything that I dreamed of. I don't want that to happen to you. If you already down there, we can still come back. If you heading that way, we can snatch you before you get too far. Because that's what God did to me. He was like that little grandpa on the insurance commercial with the fishing pole. Gotta be quicker than that. He said, no, ma'am, not gonna happen. Because how dare I allow your little limiting beliefs in your mind that aren't even true keep you from who I called you to be, from who you were meant to be, from who I created you to be? Yeah, no. God wasn't playing with me about that. So he literally was like, I'm going to make everything around you so unbearably difficult. So unbearably difficult until you have no choice but to bust a move. Yeah, and I ain't even had no move to but God do a lot sometimes. He was forcing my hand to bust a move, and I didn't even have a move to bust. Like I'm waiting, I'm anticipating, like, okay, God, like I'm outside double. As soon as you give me a move to bust, I'm gonna bust it, okay? Bust it. And he was like, I'm gonna need you to bust one before I give it to you. I'm gonna need you to do something first. Then I'm gonna guide you on the direction. But busting a move, you gotta do that by yourself. So I bust the only move that I had. The only move I had to bust was to show up. I just showed up. I didn't have anything else in me that I could offer or that I could apply besides showing up. So I decided to show up. And every day I continued to show up for myself in all the different areas and facets of my life that I was hoping for change or needing a shift in my mindset about. Each day, it just became a little bit easier to show up. Now, of course, in the beginning, I did miss a few days. I missed a few days. That's normal. That's regular. It's nothing that's uncommon to miss a few days. But what I began to realize was that it started to get harder to bounce back after I had missed so many days compared to me just continuing to show up each day. If I missed a whole week of working out, it was death to get back in there. But if I pushed through the little soreness and got through my workout and turned my music on and, turned up while I got my exercise on to my gospel gym playlist, then that was a lot more bearable than feeling like I had to continuously start over than just keep going. One pastor I used to listen to, he would always say progression over perfection. And that was really, really hard for me because I am a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist in all its glory and all the definitions and all the ways you can look up perfectionism. My picture right there. I wanted things to be done, things to be perfect. I could never really be accepting of progress. I had to always be complete. That was the only place I was ready to celebrate or feel accomplished. I was never okay with celebrating progress. I was only okay with celebrating completion and success. So God really had to sit down with me and be like, girl, just show up every day. Every day. Now I tend to say consistency is bound to breed change because if you're consistent in anything, it don't matter, even if it's not towards a specific faith-based thing. If you're consistent in any area of your life, change is bound to happen. It has no choice. Once I realized that, from that day forward, me and God was locked in. I made a vow to myself and to God that I was going to show up for myself every day from this day forward, even if I only had 5% to give on those days. And the reason why I was able to confidently make that vow to God was because I thought back to the very first day that I showed up. I didn't have nothing. Y'all saw that little wimp move I busted. I just showed up. So if I show up consistently and one day I only got 5% because of whatever reason that may be, because of my emotions, because of external circumstances, or if it's just because physically I'm actually sick, I'm actually tired, didn't get enough rest, whatever it may be, if I still show with that 5% that I have, God will meet me there. And over time, as I begin to continue to just show up for myself and show up for myself each and every day, something so amazing began to happen, y'all. And I'm smiling because I'm thinking back to when I was in that space. Something amazing began to happen. Every single day I showed up feeling as if I was lacking. When I showed up and God showed up right beside me, I began to be filled with the very things that I felt like I was lacking so that I could go in and complete my consistency task for the day. Y'all, and after that, I just was locked in. I couldn't deny that if I showed up every single day with my 100%, my 5%, my 20%, or whatever I had to offer God or offer myself, I was going to start doing that because we show up at 200 or 2,000% for everybody else, especially if you're a woman that cares for any people in a family, or if you're a mother that cares for children, you're going to show up for them children. Running out 1 hour of sleep, but you still there. And I had that bad about showing up for other people because I don't want anyone to ever feel, because I felt what it feels like to not have someone show up for you, to not have someone celebrating with you, to have a phone full of contacts and feel like you can't call anyone. So what I'm not about to do is not show up for somebody. That is embedded in me hard. But God really, really had to sit me down and be like, Kiana, you're showing up for everybody and you're not even showing up for you. How are you going to be able to pour into other people from an empty cup? You not showing up for yourself is leading you into those depressive episodes. You not showing up for yourself is leading you into those insecurities because you don't feel good about your body. You not showing up for yourself is not giving your children the best version of you as a mother. You're not being the best at productivity and creativity as you can be in whatever your career field. You're not showing up as your best self because you're not even showing up for yourself. And there was a lot of guilt that I had to work through about that because I felt like that was selfish. I'm the furthest thing from anything related to selfishness. And so I felt like if you show up for yourself and you put yourself first, That's making you selfish. And that's not something I ever wanted to be. But God really worked with me. And he sat me down and he's like, Key, you got to start showing up. You got to start showing up to y'all. And so I'm going to tell you the same thing. You got to start showing up for yourself. You got to start showing up for yourself each and every day, no matter how small. And it's going to continue to build on itself. Okay, today I drank a bottle of water because I got to get my hydration up. Today I went for a walk for 10 minutes. When I first started my walks, I probably only walked a half a mile or a mile. And then I progressed to 2 miles. I progressed to 3 miles. I progressed to getting my mile under 20 minutes. I progressed to interval walking and running. I got all the way down to my mile with my intervals is under 15 minutes. Y'all, I didn't get that way overnight. And I never would have gotten to that place if I didn't start showing up for myself. And you gotta show up for you. Because also, one of my friends, she always says that we teach people how to treat us. How can we expect someone else to show up for us in a way that we're not even willing to show up for ourselves? I know I'm hitting y'all. I know I'm hitting y'all with some of this stuff because I'm even sitting here looking at myself in this camera and I'm reminding myself. Because even though I've gotten this far, even though I can sit here and encourage you, on any given day, I could feel like I'm not going to show up for myself. I could feel like, you know what, today I ain't getting no sleep. I'm tired. I'm not even going to show up and continue this podcast. I'm not going to show up and continue trying to build this brand. I'm not going to show up and continue offering women the option to come to a supportive community. I'm not going to get up and get dressed for myself, knowing good and well that once I get dressed, my whole attitude changed. I'm filled with energy. I have a good demeanor about myself. Like my face lights up when I see myself get dressed. And it's not from an ego-filled place or a, what's the word? Arrogant-filled place. But I take joy and pride that I got up. I put myself together my little 5-minute makeup routine. I put my clothes on the same way I'm going to get my kids dressed to make sure they're presentable out here in the world. I'm doing that for me. I feel better about me. And when I do that, yeah, it's going to start to trickle off into all the other areas of your life. So now you're going to be like, I show up. My attitude, my confidence is up because I showed up for myself, because I showed up for those workouts. My health is going to grow. It's going to get better because I showed up for me. Y'all get me? Now, hey, y'all, I know I've been hanging out with a lot of information, so I'm going to give y'all a little breather for a commercial break. And we're going to head over to my new segment that I'm super excited about. It's called Style by K. Simone Fashion Corner. And y'all know the reason I'm super excited about it is because it is my personal way of expressing my love for fashion on a daily basis. On a weekly basis, I come to you in each of these episodes. Now, if you're listening to the audio only, so you can't see me here for the segment, you can head over to my personal Instagram at Style by K. Simone or my TikTok, which is also Style by K. Simone. You could go to either of those platforms and you can either watch my Get Ready With Me for Meet to End This podcast episode, or you could just look at the photos of the full fit, and everything will be linked those platforms as well as in the description of this video for my Amazon storefront. As many of the items as I may wear or that I have that I could find option for you to shop, I'll link it below in there. So with all that being said, let's hit the commercial break and head over to the Style by K. Simone Fashion Corner. Welcome to Style by K. Simone's Fashion Corner, my favorite new segment during the Shifting Your Atmosphere podcast. Now, today the fit check is very much necessary. It's very much needed. I am wearing a turtleneck, long sleeve bodycon dress. Hopefully you can get into the actual color of the dress. And then I just paired it with a crop puffer vest. Then I had to hit it with this hat that I got when I was on my trip to New York. This necklace, it's Michael Kors or Michelle, but my dad gifted me this a very, very long time ago, so I'll never get rid of that. And then I just got some boots on, y'all, because y'all know the weather outside playing with us. It's cold. But anyway, this is the fit. Now let's get back to the episode. We're back at the second half of the episode. Did y'all watch? I'm saying, let me know in the comments, y'all. I'm super excited that even if y'all don't tell me that y'all love it, I think I'm gonna still keep showing y'all get dressed because that is what makes me happy, okay? And it's part of me showing up for myself. So I'm probably gonna keep it, but just let me know in the comments how y'all feel about it. Where we left off was talking about how I was showing up for myself and how you should show up for yourself, even if all you have is 5% to give. When I first started this and I began to feel the shifting of my mindset and my ability to show up for myself, it started to really sink in. I was like, you know what? I might be on to something. So it birthed what I like to call the shift theory, right? It wasn't quite a challenge yet because I wasn't sold on it yet. But over the last few years, I began to test it out. So y'all don't have to test it out. But specifically, over this last year, I became very, very intentional about it. No matter if I had to work, no matter if I had a busy schedule, like I became very, very intentional about showing up for myself in as many ways and on as many days in my faith, in my fashion, in my mental space, in my forgiveness, in all these areas. I began to try to show up for myself and really test out the shift theory and see if it was really gonna work over time, long term, and specifically over 52 weeks. So I gave God a year. I was like, here's 52 weeks, God. Let's test this theory out and let's see what you're talking about, right? And it wasn't just for me because it ended up being birthed into now what I call the shift challenge, which is for me because I continue to still use it. I think I'm on about week 7 now for 2025. And it's for you too. I explained to you all the background about that in the first half of the episode. And now the second half of the episode, I want to show you exactly how you can get in on this challenge. It is completely free. If you do decide to order or purchase one of our all-in-one Christian planners or our daily prayer journals, it's also included in those, no matter if you get the hard copy or the digital version. But if you already have resources for yourself that are already working for you and you don't really want to adapt your resources, or maybe you're just going to test it out because you're unsure if it would actually be something you want to continue or not, I got you. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how you can get access to this, right? I'm going to put up here on the screen the flow process of how you can go to either my personal Instagram, which is Style by K Simone, or the Shifting Your Atmosphere Instagram, which is shifting.your.atmosphere. And when you go on either of those Instagrams, I believe on my personal Instagram, it's going to be linked in the link tree. And on the Shifting Your Atmosphere Instagram, it's going to be the very last link. And it's going to say 52-week commitment or the shift challenge or something like that. Now, once you press the link and it'll pull up a form for you to input, like, your name and your email so that the file can be sent directly to you. Now, once you have the file, it's going to look a little something like this. It'll have several pages. It'll start with a welcome letter from me, just to welcome you and let you know how excited I am for your journey that you're starting. And the second page will have about 5 steps of instructions that I would want you to go through before you make this commitment to yourself for this challenge for the next 52 weeks of giving God a year, to show you how good it can get with your own consistency. Now, at the bottom of that page, you will have a space for you to sign and date when you're starting your commitment, because we're not lying to ourselves. We're locking down the date and with our signature that we are committed to the next 52 weeks of showing up for ourselves and showing up with God. Now, once you finish that page, you'll go over to the next page that looks a little something like this. And this simply is your commitment letter. This letter's purpose is for you to solidify your commitment to yourself. Now, you do have options. You can write this commitment letter to your current self or to your future self. Now, when I wrote my personal letter, I wrote to my future self because I didn't have no more time for the hot mess express that was my current self. So I was trying to keep all my focus ahead on what was to come and what I was trying to aspire to grow into. I wasn't worried no more about the place that I had been in. I spent plenty of years wallowing in her. So I was worried about her 2.0. I was not worried about my current self. So that's how I went about. That's the route I took for my personal letter. Now, you can choose whatever route you want to do for your own personal letter. You have one last step, which is the very last page. And it's to lock into our community. Because I bet you didn't know. The support is the secret ingredient to a Krabby Patty secret formula for shifting your atmosphere. You ain't know that, did you? I know. I be coming with the information. But beyond all of that, y'all, we would love to have you and any other person or woman in your life that is looking to join a community full of loving and supportive women who've either already been through some similar things that you are currently going through, or they're going through their own personal journey and can use some encouragement as well. Either way, we can encourage each other. We can cheer from the stand, and we can also just do life together so that none of us feel alone, because it can be very, very hard to keep up motivation and maintain consistency when you feel like you're the only person that's going through this. You're the only person that understands. Nobody else sees you for who you are. So there are a few ways that you can lock into our community. You can join our Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. Once you have the shift challenge, there should be a link on there that will get you directed to the Facebook group. You just request to join and I'll let you in. The other ways that you can lock into our community is following us on our Instagram. I'm giving you my personal one, which is Style by K Simone, shifting.your.atmosphere for the Shifting Your Atmosphere Instagram. You could also go over to our TikTok, which is still under the @Style by K Simone. And you can even subscribe and share this podcast or our YouTube page. Because even beyond the podcast, every single Saturday morning, look at that accountability. I just gave y'all every single Saturday morning, so I guess I got to show up. But every single Saturday morning, I upload a video of what I like to call journaling out loud. And it's basically just me going through any type of devotional or scripture that God has pointed out to me and broken down to me on a topic that either I've previously dealt with or that I'm currently still working through. And we journal out loud about it. We talk about it, we discuss it. If you guys ever want me to do one live so we can answer live questions on it on one Saturday, you can let me know. I'm willing to do that for you guys. And you can hold me accountable to that if y'all do ask for it, and I agree. With all the information I've given you and all the ways I've given you that you can get locked into our community, I'm just overall super, super excited to watch our community grow and watch how God makes these shifts in each and every one of you guys' lives. Because that's really my sole purpose. That's the biggest reason why I've created Shifting Your Atmosphere, the brand, why I've stepped out on faith to express and share my own personal walk and my own personal journey through this, because I really want this information to help someone else, because I felt so, so, so alone when I was going through it. And I know how much harder it can be. And so I would like to be that source to help you through your journey, even if that's simply only through community and accountability. So lastly, as we wrap up the episode, I know this content is primarily for women, but I have a lot of male friends and there's a lot of men out there, right? If you are a man and you've stuck in with me this far to the end, I see you and thank you. And I know you may not feel like this information is directly correlated to you. However, just take what does apply to you and apply it to your life. And if there's nothing that applies to you, just take the information as resources to help you understand your woman better, or just women in general. And lady, if your man needs to hear this, just put it on speaker, prayer play, and walk out. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. If you do it for real and it goes over well, text me and let me know, okay? Because I want to be a part of everybody growth. Even if that's your man subconsciously hearing, because you know we put them on the music, so why not put them on to some self-growth, right? Okay. Now, I done held y'all long enough. So until the next episode, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So when we come back on Thursday, y'all ready to hear what I got for y'all in the next episode. That's all I got for today. Peace.